Okay, we'll start the program now. Like I said, we're running just a little bit off time, so we're adjusted. I would like to take a moment before I do this. I think it's important. I would like to recognize Mr. Paul Flannery. I've worked with him for many years. He's an absolute professional and just a darn good guy to work with, and you have a strong leader in him. So from the MC to Mr. Flannery, with sincerest respect, it's a pleasure to work with you. Okay. Garrett Schwartz, you are the Chief Technology Officer of the International Yacht Broker Association. I'm not using that term, sir. I'm making sure you're covered. So without further ado, Garrett Schwartz, yachtbroker.org. Garrett, floor is yours.
Thank you, Bert. Thank you, Paul. And thanks to everybody who's attended. Now, I have to say, this is definitely not a tech conference. I mean, I'm following those destination videos. That was insane. Whale sharks, Belize, Bermuda, fantastic. All right, so I will try to keep your eyes open. We will make up time. You know, this should take probably about 15, 20 minutes, unless you have got a lot of questions and answers. Like you said, I am the chief. My name is Garrett Schwartz. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of yachtbroker.org. I'm also the digital architect behind its design. So any features, any needs, any tools, I'm the one that can help work with you, with the for sale brokers to get it done. Okay, so it's no secret that I love technology, right? Not gadgets, not social media, but I'm talking big data. The kind of data that changes industries. In aggregate, you know, it's what creates an industry or can disrupt a market, right? And that's why they say data is the new oil. So I suggest that as we go through this presentation, that we think about our industry from a macro perspective. Think about, take an orbital view of our industry and ask ourselves, what data defines our market? Like in this case, I would assume that it's the fleet of charter yachts worldwide, right? Or yachts for sale in terms of the brokerage industry. And think about who is controlling that data. Now, obviously, you own your data. Everybody owns their own data. But who controls that data? All right, so I want you to think about that as we go through this presentation. You know, now, so in this presentation, we'll cover what is the yachtbroker.org MLS and how does it relate to charter. So let's get into that. Now, like the real estate MLS, yachtbroker.org is the industry-owned database established by IYBA and in partnership with other leading associations such as YBAA. And it's there to collect and control the collective data about all the vessels on the market and is exclusively for professional use. And it's exclusively professional use because the association controls its aggregate data, not an advertising site that's warehousing it. Big difference. So hopefully you're grasping that concept. Big data, data mining, who controls the aggregate data? Think about Airbnb and rentals. You know, the MLS, National Association of Realtors, controls their MLS. Therefore, you see that data going to the places that support the industry. And then there's offshoots, of course. But all right, so our MLS is different than the real estate MLS, however, because we had multi-dimensional objects, right? It's not a house, it's a yacht. There's a lot of factors that are involved in a yacht. So there's a lot of multimedia that can describe it. So our MLS is kind of like an Uber MLS compared to the real estate MLS. I mean, what we have is it provides so many more data options, allowing brokers and agents to control and design a bespoke shopping experience when they are presenting their listings online or in digital brochures. And your MLS allows you to create unlimited private custom fields to describe all aspects of your listing and to display unique content, which is great for SEO, okay? And then you can upload unlimited PDF files, graphic web links. You know, a web link you might see as HTTPS and underlined in your browser, but a graphic web link is where you might put a magazine article there, and you click on it, and it opens up the article. So graphic links are very important when your upscale clientele comes to your website. They don't want to click on a link. Maybe if there's an article in Boat International magazine about your client's yacht. The cover of the magazine is a much better and effective way to get their attention, so they click on it and it goes. So our MLS platform it allows you to store everything, anything you can think of, including latitude and longitude coordinates, mapping destinations. So if you've got a charter yacht that's going to stop at all these destinations, you can geo-target each destination and then add PDFs, add videos, add virtual tours, add those destination videos you just saw today into your profile and into your presentation, so that when you put it on your website or you create a PDF file, that when people click on the PDF file, those images open up that information. Marinas, you can put the Marina Mapping into the platform so that if the Caribbean Charter Yacht Show in Yacht Haven in St. Thomas is going to happen, you can have the dock overlay. Your boats are appearing there, and you can send that to your client. And then, since it's integrated with Google Mapping, they touch the picture of the yacht, and it launches on their phone, initiates Google navigation, and it can lead them directly to the dock. So all I'm saying is that this MLS platform it's an Uber MLS platform. And it also allows you private data feeds. Now think about this. Data feeds where you can not only input all that data into your own industry-controlled data warehouse, but you can send it anywhere you want. That could be maybe Yachtfolio someday takes the feed, right? And then you can put your inventory into this platform, send it to wherever you want. And the position of power is who's controlling the data. And right now, we're in the sales industry as well. We've been letting advertising sites warehouse our data, right? The aggregate data and how they use it, how they access it. But if we can, as a group, collectively create our own data warehouse that you're in control of, then you can use these data feeds in our MLS to send your boat wherever you want, whether it's your own brochures that your marketing team come up with, maybe it's the Charter Yacht Show in St. Thomas for IGY marinas, and that data is yours to use however you wish. And that's extremely powerful. The real estate doesn't even have, RE/MAX, their houses where they can take and create their API feeds and send their data outward. So that is part of our MLS platform. So, all right, so how does this relate to charter? Let's see. Okay, so how does this relate to charter, right, and MLS? Well, like I said, you can build anything with the tools. Well, we started with the yacht. That's where this entire MLS project came into place. It stores so much information, of which I kind of listed. You can see in the green box there, a lot of the data that we collect. So adding the charter component was just an extension of the MLS, because you've got companies like Northrop & Johnson, and I mean, there's so many. Luke Brown, you've got sail, charter, one company, right? So why put your boats into a charter site and then into a boats for sale site, and some advertising sites, and then rely on that data to be managed for you by your advertisers and put it back into your website? So with this platform, since a yacht is a yacht, it has all the elements of it for sale, but then you can add on the charter elements. So it's a natural extension of the tool. And for companies that do both for sale and for charter, our platform is there to allow you to manage all that content, okay? And one of the quotes that I love here from one of our clients was, "The MLS is a data goldmine that I can trust is being used to protect my business," right? I mean, that's what IYBA does, and that's why they're entrusted to manage this database. And remember, the associations are made up of you, the brokers, Bob Saxon, Paul Flannery, all brokers, people that are working in the industry that are here either as volunteers or as employees to make sure that our industry, your jobs are protected, right? Now, think about banking, travel agents, right? How the data was used to make it more efficient for the end user, the buyer or the renter, but not the agent, right? So this is where by controlling the data, we have a say in how our industry evolves. We have a say, and we control who has access to that data. So I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So now, when we started in 2017, we didn't think of the charter element. It was more yachts for sale, MLS, data. Okay, so that's where we started. But it quickly became apparent, because N&J was one of our first early adopters, and said, look, we got yachts for charter, so add those fields. So we did that, and then we added more, and I just had a great meeting out there, can't remember who it was, about adding more profiles for the crew. So we have complete crew profiles, and I'll show you this in a second, but let's get back to the 5 things that these brokerages were asking for when we first started in 2017 was reduced data entry, right? Are you entering boats into Yachtfolio, Central Yacht Agent, Boat Wizard for Yacht World, Yachtco? You're entering boat data everywhere. And they're all advertising sites for the most part. Some of them might market themselves as MLS, but they're all private companies. And they do great things. You know, Jeff Schaefer showed me some awesome PDF files that were just mind-blowing with destinations. So we'd love to have, and those are features that we can easily add into this. So reduce data entry, limit exposure. This is very important, kind of what we've been talking about. Warehousing data in advertising websites gives the advertiser a business advantage because that big data, what I really love, is the industry in a lot of markets, you know, that collective data. The third thing they were asking for is dynamic data access. Now, think about this for a second. Yes, you're using certain tools. They build PDF files. They put the profile image there. They put the hot tub picture there. They give the virtual tour there. And everything's really nice, and it's being put together in a way that serves you so you could serve your clients. But also think about where's the world going as it spins? What are we going to build next? What's the next tool? What's the next Airbnb superhost idea? What's the next Zillow suggested broker? There's so many things that you can build if you control discrete fields, the pricing field, the virtual tour field, the certificate, the class, all of this data. If you can't control how it's pieced together in a mosaic, then you're literally sitting around waiting for somebody to build you your future, right? But if you control the data, you have the pieces of that mosaic in your buckets in red, blue, green, you can build whatever you want. So the whole concept here is not to give you a demo of the MLS, but it's to just state that data is paramount to our future. We've seen what's happening in the real estate industry, rentals. All right, so source code, number 4. This is where we, as developers, understand that it's not easy for you to create your own brochures pulling data from an API or a database. It's work. So one of the things they asked us to do, which we have done, and Bert and I have been talking about this for the Charter Yacht Show, is starter code. So what we've done is we have code that creates PDF files, creates landing pages, creates full search websites, creates geolocated coordinate mapping that already integrates with our MLS APIs, which include all the charter fields. So yes, it's not there in a final form that you can just start using as an agent to give your client, but it's there for your marketing departments to get their arms around and say, look, I've got access to all these tools. We're giving you a toolbox. Now, granted, you got to do the work, but that's what makes brokerages unique. If you look at Burgess, if you look at N&J, if you look at Ocean Independence, and if you look at a lot of these companies, their marketing material is first class. I've never seen anything like it, right? And I work in the tech industry, and we can build anything. I mean, this stuff is phenomenal. Imagine what you can do if you're in control of all the minutia, all the details. And you've got IYBA, YBAA, we've got California Yacht Brokers Association. Hopefully, we'd love to get MYBA behind us. But the data is there for you. All right, and then the most important thing that they were asking for was what I basically just talked about in our slide. So, all right, so I'll let you look at that for a second. Looks like it's overlapping each other. Wasn't like that when I sent it. Sorry. Okay.
We have a tech challenge.
So let me go on to the next stage. So what are we doing? Obviously, those were the things that when we first started, people were asking for, and we've done it. So, whoa. This is not the PowerPoint I dropped off. Snafu? All right. I can improvise here. So you can still see the bullet points on the bottom. So that's what they wanted. So what we took is a 3-step approach. So how do we get there? Well, it's a process, one that takes time, and it could move at a glacial pace. But realize that this glacial pace it's a glacial effort. This is literally market changing. What you're experiencing right now, what you're living through in this time period is big data changing like a glacier carves out the Grand Canyon, right? So that's what's happening. The industry's moving, the world's changing. Big data is enabling people to work from home, to bypass you, go straight to the yacht owner, try and get them to, sell their boat and post it on their apps directly. I mean, it's happening in real estate, it's happening in yacht brokerage, I'm sure it's happening in charter. Maybe there's Airbnb knockoffs that we know of, so. Craigslist, Ahoy, I've heard names, but in any case, controlling your data is really the most important thing. Because, granted, you buy a yacht, you put it in your yard, or you put it on the dock at the marina. For us to do our jobs, we need that digital representation to engage with our client. You're not going to walk there with the yacht in your pocket. Usually they're somewhere else. Costa Rica's there, the yacht's there, the person's there. So without that digital representation, what do you have, right? A description that you can vocalize. So data is important in our industry. So the fields that we started to collect, and I'm going to give you some screenshots here. The vessel, accommodation, and descriptions. Pretty straightforward. You describe it. Crew profiles, and this is, hopefully you can see that. Just some examples. On the top right are screenshots from some PDFs that we have that's pulling the data. But realize, and I just had a conversation, and I wish if you're out there, tell me, raise your hand. But it was talking about the crew. How can we hold and store more information about the crew? Because it was very important. I'm a tech guy, I'm not sure exactly why, but passport information, their bio, what their training was, their resume. You know what you want to share and store about your crew. All of that is available in our system. And all you have to do is come to us and say, hey, because we're your programmers, just say, hey, we need the ability to scan and upload a passport. Okay, tomorrow you're going to have a passport field, all right? You want other information? Let us know, we'll do it. Referrals, maybe you have a review on crew that you all, as professionals, engage in behind the scenes privately that nobody else can see. Is this guy good? Is that guy, So think about all the things that we can do with the data. All right, meal and dining information. Toys, tenders, destination specs, search filtering for mapping. Our code actually works with Google JavaScript, which literally is a layer of UI over Google Mapping so that you can, like I said, IJY Marina, you can lay it out, click, launch your navigation. So it's pretty cool, and I've got a screenshot of that. Right? And you can see there, I've got one boat at the Yacht Haven Marina. If you click on it, it'll pop up. Just an example, right? Obviously, it's not loaded, it's a demo, but it fully works, operational. The person that's the charter agent just goes in, clicks on the map, says it's in dock C12, just click it. You don't have to know it's C12, you just click the location, right? And it automatically inserts the geo-coordinates to the level. And then it'll show up on all these websites, your own website, your own PDFs, where if they click it, touch it, it can lead them right there, right? So, and maybe you want to check 6 boats that your client's interested in chartering at a certain show. You select those 6 boats, generates a PDF, sends it to them. So those are the things that you can do with the platform. All right, shared reservations calendar. One of the things that I know Yachtfolio does very well, and they do a great job, and you guys, by no means are we saying don't use any of these products, because they're all really, really good. We're just showing you what's available as a platform if you so choose to use it. All right, what we've done is we've taken Google's, and Google, I'm never going to create better code than Google because of who Google is. So what we've done is Google makes all their code open source. It's like a kid in a candy store, right? For me, I can go in there. I want that JavaScript. I want that script. I want that code. It's all there. It's all there. Developers.google.com. And you can get whatever you need. So what better is a mobile optimized mapping or a calendaring system that could link with your calendar, use all their apps, but we integrated it with our platform. So if you've got Elite, which is a charter yacht, going to be at the St. Thomas Boat Show or Yacht Charter Show, you can have that in there, and then everybody entering where your boats are going to be, it'll all overlay on the calendar, right? So it's really cool, and it's there. Multimedia. One of the things that we had to do was, since we have so many boats for sale in our system now, and a lot of them are charters, and people are starting to notice that they can turn it into a charter, we have fields, like I said, virtual tours, videos, pictures, and you have the ability to designate each one, whether it's for sale or for charter. So that way you don't have too many pictures, for example, right? The guest might not care about an engine room. Somebody buying the yacht might care about the engine room, but somebody buying the yacht might not care about the destinations, might not care about the food that you're serving. So with our system, you can upload all your pictures into one place, designate that, that buffet is for the charter site. Those engine room pictures are for the for sale site. So you have the ability to designate all the elements in our system. Do they go for charter or for sale? Okay. And then we've got, obviously, full profiles on you, your companies, your staff. And if you go to Northrop Johnson's website, I'm trying to think, HMY's website, our APIs also deliver not only information about the boats, but information about the employees, right? So you can have all of your team members on your website, your central agent information, but that's good because when you create those brochures, you want them to contact you, and it's all relational, meaning, let's say Casey from Ocean Independence is going to represent a boat, but the boat is owned by Nicole at RJC, right? You can have that data dynamically update itself. And we also have security roles because we allow all those custom fields, which are great for SEO and great for unique descriptions of a boat that might include your branding information. Well, that information that's branded is never shared. So that means that if Casey was going to represent somebody else's yacht, the fields that are branded or private won't be shared, right? And same for, let's say if Nicole at RJC wants to represent a boat that's Casey's, her information about her company, about herself, her contact information is all unique and all securely separated as it goes through our APIs to its final destination. Okay. So we're just about done here because I know you guys got a show to go to and see really cool things. So let's see. Sorry about my slides here. Okay, so, and by the way, I just came from Naples and I had my power out for a week, so 2 days on. So this is my teleprompter here. So, all right, so step 2, website source code. I said that with mapping code, brochure code. Looks like we're ahead of schedule. All right, so this leads us to, I think I've covered what we offer in terms of a data set and a data warehouse. Now, step 3, which we're not there yet. And like I said, we created it. It's there. It's working out in the world. But the step 3 is how do you get full adoption? How do you get, obviously, if there's 1,400 charter yachts and Yacht Index, Charter Brochure, Charter Index, then how do we get all that same inventory into our system so you can take advantage of all these features, right? So that's what we're here to do, is to let you know these are tools here for you. If we get all the inventory in, then you can do everything, and your marketing teams can go crazy building whatever you want, right? You don't all have to use the same PDF file that everybody else uses, right? And maybe if you're printing out Bahama information, it's not the same, and everybody's sending the same information to your client, right? Because if it's redundant, after a while, the buyer's going to be like, well, if I hire him, I'm getting the same information, right? So you want to differentiate yourself. So this leaves us to where we are right now. And Jeff, I know you really raised some good points in our last meeting. We're there. We need to complete the journey. And right now, we are a PaaS, platform as a service. Don't want to get too technical, but that means that it's technology you can use to build things. A software as a service, a SaaS, means it's end user ready. You're ready to go in, print the brochures, Send the QR codes. It's a completed platform. So that's where we would like to get to. So, yeah, any questions?
So what does all that mean to us?
I knew if I gave a demo or started talking too technical, I would lose everybody.
Garrett builds kick-ass technology. I've done a little bit of sales. So the long and the short of it is we built yachtbroker.org initially as an MLS, multiple listing system, member listing service, to provide data to the public or to provide data for brokers to share from one to the other about the boats. There are a variety of different platforms out there. There are some platforms that cater strictly to the sales side of the industry and some platforms that cater strictly to the charter side of the industry. Obviously, you guys all know Charter Index and Yachtfolio and all that. Those are the products that you use. Why we offer the ability to integrate in with yachtbroker.org is because many of the boats that are for charter are also for sale. So it's a single data entry point. When you put a boat in there, let's say Terry's got a 50-meter Trinity that's for charter and they decide to put the boat up for sale as well, you can have all the input about that boat put into the system one time, and then you can allocate, if a person's inquiring about that boat for charter, like Garrett said, maybe it's the buffet and maybe it's the toys and maybe it's the crew information that's important. Whereas if a person's inquiring about that boat for sale, it's the engine room specs, the performance, the fuel capacities, the recent refit, whatever the case may be. So you can input all the data one time and then you can collate it or cull it out as to who it would be applicable to. Another thing that's really elegant about the product is that Garrett talked about geolocation. And where it works for us is in the Caribbean Charter Yacht Show, in the Bahamas Charter Yacht Show, in open houses. If you've gone to an open house where you've seen boats at Bahia Mar, we have the geo-referencing and the Google Map overlays of Bahia Mar. We have the marina overlaid in there. We have the Yacht Haven Grand Marina in St. Thomas overlaid in there. Garrett showed you one boat, but when the show takes place, you'll see all of the boats that are in the show, each of them with a bubble in their exact location. You can click on the boat and open up the specs about that boat because it's geolocated. You can also get Google walking directions to the boat, or driving directions as the case may be. If you're over at Megan's Bay and you want to come over there and you don't know how to get there, you click on the boat, you say go to, and it'll give you the driving directions from the parking lot at Megan's Bay around over to Charlotte Amalia. It's a platform that's in process. It's a platform that will continue to evolve with time. Are we going to replace Yachtfolio? Hell no is probably the real answer. No, of course not. Charter Index is a product that you guys use. There are a couple of others that you use and have for a long time. This is yet another tool in the tool bag. The one thing that differentiates this from any of the other ones that you're using is behind the scenes, the method in which Garrett built this system. It's created for SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. I think we all know that these days. And what does that mean? It means you rank higher on Google because that's where everybody goes to look for things, is on Google. So if somebody's sitting on their couch in December in Cleveland and they just want to go get the hell out of there and go charter a boat, and they want to charter, 40-meter Benetti in St. Thomas, and they type that into the Google search bar, based upon the way our system is built, if your boat is in there and it meets those parameters or criteria, it will trend higher because of all the unique content that you have the ability to attach to that boat in the system. The crew profiles, the videos, the photography, the digital floor plans, the articles that have been published in different magazines about that boat when it was built. You can attach all that information to the file that you can't attach in other platforms. So is it an arduous task to put your data into yet another platform? Hell yes, it is. It's a pain in the neck. But the fact of the matter is we have choices today. We built something designed specifically for the sales side of the industry that we recognized could be a tool that would be very handy for the charter side of the industry as well. Not that they're sides, but nonetheless, they're different disciplines. So it's a tool that's available to you. Garrett is, I think you guys may have been able to figure out, he's passionate. He's enthusiastic. He's excited about this. He does love big data. And Garrett also oversees all of the digital footprint at IYBA. When Casey was working with us, we developed our own in-house website. So EBA.org, we house ourselves now. The whole back office of your membership and all the documents and everything about the association, Garrett built every single line of that code. He built every bit of it. Boat Docs is a product that we're building so that you can process all the documents to transact the sale of a boat. And when we've got that locked down and ironclad, we're going to add our charter agreements into that. So if you choose to, you'll have a digital processing platform to be able to do all of your charter contracts with e-signatures and the ability to have checklists, track where you are in the process of a deal, and so on and so forth. So Garrett's the guy who builds all that stuff. The purpose of this system, we recognized an opportunity with the system that we were building to make it available to the charter community as well. We would love to have you participate in it. It is to your benefit if you do. I understand that it's yet another place that you have to put in data, but if you do take the effort to do it, it will pay you a far greater dividend than any other platform that you use with regard to engagement directly to the public. I know that if a charter broker is looking for a boat and a charter manager has it in Yachtfolio and the charter broker is looking for a boat, I mean, that's where you guys go to look for that stuff. That's your B2B or your peer-to-peer platform that you use now. But engagement with the public, a way to get the boats out in front of the world is a good way to do that. That's a good way to do that. And you will see that if you want to share your boat as a manager with brokers that want all the information, this is an elegant way in which you can do it. If we have any questions, Garrett will be happy to answer them. I think it was a little bit technical, but I think you guys got a sense of the fact that we have a really robust, really strong platform that is owned by you, the members, and it's there for your use. Yes, June. Got to speak on the microphone. I know you love that.
So you go to yachtbroker.org, and then you use your EBA credentials, your username and password.
So if you're a member of IYBA, you have permissions, you have the right to use the platform. If you don't have login information yet, you simply send an email in. Garrett will enable your login information, and it will allow you into yachtbroker.org to do whatever it is that you want to do in the platform. Promote a boat for sale, promote a boat for charter, take a boat that's already in there for charter and add more information to that boat, add videos, add digital floor plans, add profiles of crew members, change crew profiles, whatever the case may be.
One note is,
Got one more, hang on.
well, to that question, we have, I don't know if you know what a subdomain, doesn't matter. Yachtbroker.org
Don't
right
get
now.
too technical.
Yeah. Yachtbroker.org, if you go to that website, currently is a way where you can see the yachts for sale in the platform. The mls.yachtbroker.org is the actual broker login, which includes charter agents as well. So it's just the URL is mls.yachtbroker.org where you log in. It's kind of like Boat Wizard is the back end, Yacht World front end. It's mls.org, www. Sorry.
Any answer to, we can do that? Absolutely, June. Webinar, yes. We've done several webinars. We haven't done any focused specifically on the charter side of the platform because the charter side of the platform has recently evolved. So we really focused on that of late to build that out on your side. The question that was just asked is it free? Yes, it's a member service. So your ability to access the platform, to input boats and to search boats is included in your membership at IYBA. In fact, if you're a member of any professional association in the world, we grant you free access to the system to input your boats and to search the boats. Now, if you want the boats to feed your website, if you want to scrape the data and blend it with other feeds, there are fees associated with that, but they're still the most reasonable fees anywhere in the industry by a long shot.
And on top of that, you have completely free access to your own data. So let's say you've got a charter fleet, You put in your charter boats and you want them on your website, fully optimized with all the data we have, which will blow anybody else's away, no charge. You can make your charter yachts just shine on your website like a magazine article.
And I think that's going to wrap us up, Garrett. Oh, wait a second. Annie's got one question. Annie has to have a question or we can't finish the segment.
But is this something that it's approved, let's say a yacht sales broker from another company posts a boat for sale and it wants to come into, say, my charter fleet? Can I just go in and take the pictures? Is there any liability with using someone's pictures?
Well, in this case, you wouldn't need to copy the pictures because you're a member accessing the same system. So like I mentioned earlier, relational data. You know, Casey and Nicole was the example. They're showing each other's boats, and it shows her name, her picture, her contact information. So you don't need to do that laborious work of copying photos, right? To save it's just not necessary. All you're doing is accessing the boat.
But you're asking about the legalities of using someone else's pictures. Yeah, we all know that a picture belongs to the photographer and you are granted a license to use that photography. So intellectual property law is another kettle of fish altogether. We don't want to go down that road right now. But if Trevor Carroll has a boat that's for sale and for some crazy reason Fraser doesn't put it in the charter fleet, they want you to be the charter manager, then you're going to communicate with Trevor, you're going to get his permission to use his photography, and then you can use it. But does the platform create that ability? Yes, it does, with the proper permissions. Oh, hang on a second.
Really looking for the consumer front end. What is that? You know, because I'm an employing broker. My name's Captain Jim Hayek with Passion Yacht Sales. But so on our traditional, before we started this one, it's Yacht World. What is the consumer front end?
Well, an MLS is literally the database. So there's a little bit of misunderstanding on how and what an MLS is. An MLS is not Realtor.com. That's an advertising site. Yacht World advertising site. The database of aggregate data is the MLS. So,
and I think what you're asking about is a public-facing advertising site, i.e., on the sales side of the business, Yacht World is the big 800-pound gorilla in the room. We do not have at this time what is considered a public-facing advertising site designed to bring the boats forward on a singular platform. But because of the way the data is the way the platform is built for SEO optimization or for search engine optimization, what happens is when someone Googles the question about a boat that you have or a product that you have, the ranking will bring it up highest in the Google search results so that they'll go directly to you or to your company for information on that boat instead of going to another public-facing private enterprise advertising site. So it drives them directly to you. EBA at this time does not have a public-facing advertising site that has all the boats listed and ads on the side for belts and topsiders and propellers and, you know, jet skis or whatever the case may be. Not that it's not a piece of the puzzle, but it's not. We're not ready for that just yet.
And my big data speech is about not to scare anyone, but to realize that if you rely on advertisers, which that's the misnomer, is thinking Yacht World's an MLS. It's an advertising site. And they want you to think it's an MLS because they want you to put your boats in there and think they're going to work like the real estate industry. Well, the thing is that the data is there to control. So we hope that that participation gives you the control over the industry so we can prevent what happened to the travel agency industry. Or you go into Chase, there's no people, it's just an ATM. You know, that's not what we want our industry to be. I think that the products you guys are selling, and I mean, not selling, but offering beautiful experiences, beautiful views, beautiful everything, that they need you. We want to make sure that the data supports your job, not replaces you with some Airbnb type app or something like that.
And with that, thank you, Garrett.
Thank you, Paul, Bert. Thank you, sir.
You got it, Garrett.
All right.
Just as a little endorsement, working with Garrett on a lot of the technology platforms is a pleasure. He communicates in ways I can understand, so that's a positive.